Hey guys, Kid here of Burnham with the Shadowverse Evolve channel, back again bringing you another deck profile, this time on Ghost Aggro in set 3. This is a very aggressive Abyss style of deck where you abuse the synergy you have with your Ghost to push damage, and then you usually close it out either with Ghost or some other small burn packages and storm packages we have in the deck. So let's just get right into the deck profile itself. All right, so this is the deck itself. We'll just hop right into it. Obviously, we're on the aggro package, so surprise, surprise, Ambling Wraith is in the deck. 1-drop 2/1 that deals 1 immediately to yourself and your opponent. It also lets you activate Sanguine on the few cards that you have Sanguine in. Card is going to be around for a bit of while. It's just a good static card that gets damage in. It's really aggressive. Next, Skeleton Fighter, one of the 1-2 combos here. It's a 1-drop 2/2. It's our Goblin, but that if you have Sanguine active when you play it, it gets +1/+1, so it becomes a 1-drop 3/3. So on turn 2, you can play Ambling Wraith into Skeleton Fighter, and that's 5/4 with the stats on the board immediately, while also dealing 1 damage to your opponent. Really good turn 2. If you see this every turn 2, you probably feel amazing. Soul Conversion are one way of digging into our deck a little bit more here. What can I say? You can trade off some of your less desirable cards and your ghost tokens that you'll be building up all the time to draw 2 more cards. Good card all around. Punk Devil here, new card into Abyss, super solid card. I've been playing with it in Control Abyss, and now I've been playing it in the Ghost Abyss as well. Card is insane. It's going to be around quite a while. 2/3 ward for 2, very good, protect our life total. Not only that, last word heal 2, which lets us spin some of our life total activating Sanguine and not being too worried about it as much, since now we have a higher life total here. And if you need Bane, you can always take 2 damage yourself to activate your own Sanguine and then swing this in to remove something. Otherwise, it's still a 2-drop 2/3 ward that heals 2 on death. Amazing card. We're playing a 2 of Lesser Mummy. A lot of times when you see this card, you actually want to see it as later in the game. Once you get to Necrocharge 10, you can build up Necrocharge relatively fast in this deck, just by curving out and just slamming things to the board non-stop. So Necrocharge comes up relatively often. I wouldn't say like every single game, depending on how quick it's going, but it comes up enough that you'll get the Storm occasionally, which is very good. We play two of the Evo. Since the Evo's for 1, it becomes a 3/3, and it has Strike, summon a Ghost token. Obviously, we get value from our Ghost. So having a card that can potentially be Storm and also summon Ghost tokens is going to be good all the time. And then a 3/3 that trades into something, a lot of the times it's just going to be good because it's going to leave that Ghost token afterwards, which is, yeah, like I said, strong for us. Mini Soul Devil places a 2 of. This is more like a combo piece, or if you have to, you can play this on turn 2 to curve out. Otherwise, you kind of save this piece for turns where you're going to start evoing and popping off that way, because there are a lot of good evo targets in this list. If you're able to put Mini Soul Devil out, you can get some extra free damage in occasionally. Though we don't have that many like low cost evos that we're always looking to evo too quickly, so we don't really need to see this card all the time anymore early game. But in the late game, like I said, it's a very strong combo piece if you're going to planning to evo and you have extra play points to use. Mischievous Zombie. This card surprisingly puts in a lot of good work here, because first of all, its fanfare is actually really good. Discard a card, you can summon a Ghost token, and if you discard a Departed card, you draw a card. A lot of the Ghost package things, almost all the cards in here just have Departed on it, attached to it as already. So not only does this help you curve out better or find pieces or burn that way, you can trade in bad cards like Skeleton Fighter here, as well as Ambling Wraith. If it's a card you don't need and don't want to play that turn, you can trade it in on the turns that you play Mischievous Zombie to find something better. Say you're looking for a Dark General or a Cerberus or even a Phantom Howl. You can discard those and get an extra draw deeper into your deck to kind of fix your hand. Some of our late game cards too as well that maybe we don't want to see early is like Masquerade Ghost here we can discard, as well as not Cerberus, our Phantom Howls. If we don't have the room for it, we can discard those as well. It's just a really good card all around. It just really, the draw is really good, and the fact it summons a Ghost token too is obviously good because it synergizes with all our Ghost plan. But what's really cool about this card is on Evo, you can give one of your Ghosts Bane. So this is a way you can get rid of through huge wards and not really care, because this card itself generates a Ghost if you discard a card, which then you can Evo your Mischievous Zombie for 2, it'll have a ghost on the board already. You can give it Bane, remove the big follower out of the way, and then swing in with all your little guys, since a lot of the ghosts are going to be like 1 to 2 power each. Trick Dullahan is another good 2-drop that curves in well, that also synergizes well with the whole ghost game plan, because early in the game it just gets you a ghost into your EX area, but if you hit the point where you can Necro Charge 10, you get 3 ghosts into your EX area anyway, which is like really good because you can just start pushing really hard with that, especially once you get the Masquerade Ghost out later in the game. Now you can push up all the ghost tokens you have in your EX area to push a lot of damage. Other than that, it's a 3/2 2-drop follower, and having 3 attack is really powerful right now in my opinion, and it's statted very aggressively. I like this card a lot in this deck. Razor Claw, this is how we kind of close out the game, our combo with our Dark General to get 8 damage for 6 play points. That's always a line you want to look out for. Otherwise, you can freely just claw face as much as you want to, you know, really push the damage, because we're an aggro deck. We want to get them down early and just not give them any breathing room with their life total. So this is a great, you know, value card throughout the entire game. It can be used as removal too, and the fact that you do get some heals now off of the Punk Devil, you know, taking the 2 damage doesn't feel as bad anymore. Playful Necromancer, this card is insane. If you've been playing Abyss for a while, you know you love this card. It's a 3-drop that evos for 1 for 3/3 into a 4/4, but it summons 3 ghost tokens with it. Comboing this card with Masquerade Ghost also is insane, and just you're able to clear up a lot of random things with the ghost that it's summoned, and you can run the 4/4 in if you need to remove a ward out of the way to get your ghost in. Otherwise, this card is insane value. A lot of times if you see this on 3 with the Evo point, play this Evo, run the ghost in, and then you have this 4/4 sitting on the board. It's just really powerful tempo in my opinion. Phantom Howl is another card that, you know, it's basically pay 3, get 4 face damage immediately. Otherwise, you can break up the ghost tokens to clear out some things that are left behind with like 1 play point. Other than that, you can combo it with Masquerade Ghost later in the game, and suddenly this card is dealing 8 storm damage out of hand, which is insane. Card is good. You're playing the ghost package stuff, you got to be playing Phantom Howl. Play Cerberus is a 2 of. This is later in the game, in my opinion. You kind of only want to see this card when you get closer to Necro Charge 10 or played on Necro Charge 10. Otherwise, playing it on curve on like turn 6 to Evo this out is like still not bad. You get a 5/5 with the Coco and Mimi tokens that are very powerful. Obviously, the Mimi letting you deal 2 damage to something, and then the Coco, which is what you want more often, pump something by 2 power. So you can pump up your random 1/1 ghost to just get in for extra damage that way and close out games like that. We played 1 of the Evo because we plan to only see this card kind of once in the game. If you see the second one, by that point you have 10 Necro Charge, so you will get both things out immediately usually. I played 2 of Dark General. This card isn't necessarily needed in the deck. I felt that there was enough ways to activate its Storm effect off of Ambling Wraith, Punk Devil, a Razor Claw. There's just a lot of good ways to activate this, so I figured having a 4-drop 5 storm damage is going to always be pretty decent, so I included in the list. Feel free to cut this though if you feel like it's not getting that much value in this list. You can probably find something else you like in this and just put it in there, or kind of curve out more on lesser mummies and mini soul devils if you prefer having a lower to the ground aggro plan. Otherwise, 1-drops are always good too if you're looking at goblins or something to play in this as well. All right, this is one of the huge payoffs is Masquerade Ghost here. So obviously we're playing this as a 3 of with 3 of the Evo. The reason we're playing 3 of the Evo is this card is really hard to remove if you don't have ways to banish it. So first things first is whenever a ghost is put onto the field, it gets +1 attack. You can pay 1 to Evo this. So for 5 play points or 4 on an Evo, we go into a 5/5. And then once again, whenever a ghost comes into the field, it gets +1 attack. And then anytime a ghost you control leaves the field, it summons a Gargantuan Ghost. And a Gargantuan Ghost is a 3/3 with Ward. And then at the start of your next main phase, it banishes the card. So you won't be able to attack with it, but it creates this huge wall that your opponent now has to deal with. It's almost kind of like a fake version of Otohime from Sword. So you can make plays like play this on turn 7 with the Evo point, play out Phantom Howl, get in for 8 storm damage, and then suddenly you have a bunch of 3, technically it's a 4/3 wards on the board, 4 of them that they have to now get through to even get to you, and also be able to swing into Masquerade Ghost. Otherwise, Masquerade Ghost still stays around for a while. That means your ghost next turn can pop off once again. And what makes this card so good is once you Evo it, if it gets removed or destroyed, that is, Last word activates, you put this card into your owner's EX area, which means the base form goes back into your EX area, which means you can play it out again. So this is a very hard card to deal with because it gets really sticky on the board, and you can just like outvalue your opponent that way over and over again because you're just getting this card back over and over. That's why playing 3 feels really good, because once you see 1 of these in your hand, they just keep coming back over and over as long as you're able to evo it every turn until you run out of evos. So 3 felt like a really good amount, obviously maxing out on it, because seeing this 5/5 3 times in a row, once you hit like turn 5, it gets obnoxious at that point because this card has to be answered a lot of the times. Otherwise, if you get this out there, evo, sit on it, don't swing in. Next turn, if they have Phantom Howl, that's only 13 face damage immediately, which is incredibly scary. And then Dark Alice, I included this in the list because sometimes we get to the point where our hand size is basically nothing. Having this off the top and also being another follower that's incredibly hard to remove off the board means that eventually this is going to do 6 face damage as well. So when we have no cards in hand as well, the last word effect doesn't cause us to discard a card because we have nothing to discard, which is good. Play this as a 2 of. If you don't like this top end as well as something to supplement the ghost stuff going on, you feel free to cut this and play something else that you like here. I really like Dark Alice. I think it's super good in aggro. I think it's super good in control. I think it's one of the better cards for Abyss in general if you're looking for a top end game plan that sticks around and can get the extra damage in, because a lot of times the struggle with this deck and other Abyss decks sometimes is that you can't necessarily guarantee something is going to live on the board long enough to keep pushing damage. And the fact that basically they have to like remove this card 3 times before the banish effect starts becoming a really, really huge issue sometimes is really good. That kind of sums up this list. It's an incredibly fun, aggressive list. You'll be pushing crazy damage with the ghost, especially once Masquerade Ghost hits the board. This list, or this archetype, is kind of like slightly slept on. I understand why right now it's definitely not a tier 1 deck, but people are ignoring it a little bit. So this deck, it can surprise people, especially at the local level, and the fact that teams is happening now. Masquerade Ghost, the whole Ghost Abyss archetype is actually pretty fun. Like once you get into the groove and summoning all the ghosts, you get so much value off of it, especially the big payoff being the Masquerade Ghost Evo here. Getting those Gargantua ghost tokens on the board not only protects yourself, forces your opponent to have some kind of board clear usually if they want to push any damage in that turn. So like even into decks like Havencraft, for example, like the only way they can get through this without basically playing a Themis is they have to play Jean Evo, which kind of eats up their entire turn. And Jean Evo doesn't necessarily remove Masquerade Ghost since you're only doing 4 damage across the entire board. And at the same time, you're wasting a Jean Evo because those 3/3 ghosts were going to remove themselves anyway. So this card is very good as long as you get a combo by summoning a lot of ghosts, which is the big thing. You want to find the Phantom Howls with it, or have one on the board, have it live, and then Playful Necromancer Evo is another good way to get a lot of ghosts on the board. Another way, obviously, Trick Dalahan is another way we're going to get a lot of ghosts on the board. And then all these other things in the package here that supplement ghosts just make your ghost insane value over time. So you could potentially grind some people out, though this deck still, in my opinion, is a very aggro-centric deck. That's what we're looking for here. All right, other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Try this deck out, let me know how it is. I'm sure there are some ghost lovers out there who've been like, everyone's been sleeping on this deck, why aren't they talking about it? Well, here it is. Let us know in the comments below how well you've been destroying your locals with your ghost variant list of Abyss. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching and enjoying our content. We really appreciate it. Later, guys.